WebRTC is actually embedding communications into everything that we do. So basically, whether it's into different devices, into the web, into different applications, it's having communications wherever you are.
By having the service integrated into the web page, you have all the browser history of what that person was doing, assuming that they've opted in for that, and also identification information about them, so that when that call comes into the call center, you have more than just, hey, there's a call coming into my call center. You know what that person is doing, and that's the part of the power of putting the communication directly into the web application.
So the neat thing about WebRTC is that it really opens up the innovation that the service providers can do. So now instead of having communications only on a thing that looks like a phone, it could be anything that has a browser in it. That could be your laptop, a tablet, the television, someday a refrigerator. But now communications can go anywhere where there's a browser or a phone, and now with that capability, the service provider can build services that span across both of those, things that look like a phone, things that look like the web.
So WebRTC helps web speak phone and phone speak web. And that allows us to do some very compelling things.
In an enterprise, and how enterprises are looking to roll out unified communications, it's dominated by specific vendors and specific vendor solutions. This really changes that for me, for BT, for a global services provider. It's not based on a specific closed enterprise solution. It's based on an open approach. And then BT can provide those services to the customer. So to me, not only does it benefit the enterprise, but it benefits BT Global Services providing services to that enterprise.
The way we're approaching WebRTC is as part of an overall communications engagement, and looking at not only what WebRTC delivers for your users, but how that interacts with other services that you're delivering, and also taking WebRTC beyond what we call the typical communications experience. And really the power of WebRTC going forward is what it can do that's different than we've seen in the past, and how to really look at communications as a web application.
It's one strategy by which service providers can address both telecom and the web as a cohesive offering. We've taken our IMS and we've exposed network APIs from it so that web developers can easily create new applications.
So service providers can start to experiment now with WebRTC. We have the tools, the capabilities, and by tapping into the really large pool of innovative web developers that are out there, they can start building new service concepts that really start to bridge telecom and web.
People's communication are tied to devices, and they're tied to specific devices that the enterprise provides to their end users, and then specific devices that they say to their customers they have to contact them by. WebRTC has the potential to completely change that, where for your internally on your enterprise, now your phone becomes wherever your nearest quote browser is, and your communication with your customer then becomes wherever their nearest browser is on whatever device they're accessing it, and that rich communications, not voice, not just video, not just chat or separate ways, but all mashed together. That to me is the game changer, and that's the excitement I'm seeing with my customers in WebRTC.
What that means for the service provider is that it'll allow for many different applications to drive traffic and drive revenue into their system.
This is completely different than just plain old voice and texting. It's putting communications as a feature inside of applications. For example, I'm a doctor and I'm communicating with my fellow clinicians, but with web real-time communications, I could put content sharing of clinical data right in that call.
What we're doing for customers always at BT, and what I help BT do with our customers, is provide better capabilities for that communication infrastructure at a lower cost and providing more services. Right? If you look at WebRTC, to me, that it's providing all those same three things.
So I think when we have WebRTC everywhere, we're really going to see that we've got communications embedded into absolutely everything that we do, whether it's our web apps, whether it's websites. We'll just have communications as a natural part of everything that we do.
So WebRTC is not a question of if, it's a question of when. And I see WebRTC as happening and starting now, and it's just going to continue to grow over time. And eventually, the future with this new conversation experience is going to be a future where a user is going to be able to communicate in any app, on any device, over any access, anywhere, anytime, with anybody.